Welcome to More Based Off, where reactions are based on facts, commentary is based on experience, and every opinion is rooted in real talk. If you enjoy honest conversations, hit like, subscribe, and let's get into it.
Welcome to the place where the truth comes first. Breaking down the headlines, separating facts from the worst. No fear, no bias, no agenda to hide. Just real conversations from the other side. Hollywood lights, street stories, what's really going on? We ask the tough.
Hey, what's up, Hollywood besties? This is your boy, Alan Thompson, with More Based Off. All right, base crew, I want to talk to y'all about something that on the surface may not seem like a big deal. So I had a long day today, y'all, and I appreciate y'all checking out my premiere earlier. And sorry about not being able to go live as well. But so I told y'all I'll be dropping some good content, give y'all something to think about, and some things that we'll be able to talk about on our next live. But yeah, so I wanted to talk about something that might not seem like a big deal on the surface, but yeah, I noticed Marcus didn't post anything on Tuesday, right? So at this point, by the time you all see this video, it'll be Wednesday morning by the time this is posted. So that's it. It's just one day. He didn't post, right? But I thought about it and I said, normally somebody taking one day off from YouTube wouldn't even be, of course, worth discussing. People have lives, people need breaks. But Marcus isn't exactly operating under normal circumstances right now. So I'm not saying that, he's been arrested or anything like that, even though, of course, with everything that's going on, you're thinking like, well, it perhaps could happen any day now. But of course, I don't have any information like that. So this video is not about that. But what I'm talking about is the pressure surrounding Atlanta Street interviews right now. Because when you look at everything that's happening, one missed day, you know, suddenly things can become a little more interesting. Um, think about where Marcus is right now, right? He's openly dealing with this situation where legal representation could become a major expense, which he already talked about, supposedly spending what that $5,000 to a lawyer for a retainer fee, supposedly. So he needs money for an attorney. He's been discussing that. So Atlanta Street Interview still has to operate. He took that week off, he came back, and he's been dishing out multiple videos daily. So that's why Tuesday caught my attention, because all of a sudden there was nothing just on, this Tuesday the other day. So, Marcus has built this platform where the content is the business. The views equal money, uploads equal money, engagement equals money. So when somebody is potentially looking at significant legal expenses, this would seemingly be the time you'll want that machine running at full speed, which he pretty much has been. He's been dropping multiple videos daily. So that's why I'm not asking where's Marcus. I'm really asking, can Marcus really afford for the content machine to slow down right now? Because that's a completely different question. And there's another piece to this. I've been watching Atlanta Street interviews lately, of course, as we all have, just whether we kind of want to or not, of course. And in my opinion, I'm saying, the content is really not hitting the same to me. I mean, like at all. I mean, but why would it, considering everything, that's happened? It's like it's painful for me to even watch mostly any of the videos. And then if you guys notice, some of the videos I don't even commentate on because I'm like, it's not even anything to talk about to me. It's not interesting, in other words. So there's obviously been changes around the cast of the people, the cast of, it's crazy we call them a cast now, and the people we've gotten used to seeing. Feisty moved off to Texas, which now we've heard supposedly, I guess she's coming back to Atlanta. So I'm like, okay, so what's going to happen with that? Are we going to end up seeing her again, or on Atlanta Street interviews? I mean, if Atlanta Street interviews, I mean, at this point goes on much longer, but But anyways, but watching the content now, clearly some people just aren't there anymore. We don't see a lot of people that he used to interview anymore. You know, a lot of the relationships has changed. Some of the personalities and storylines that viewers used to tune in for just aren't producing the same moments anymore. And you know, at this point, it's like Marcus can upload all day long, but all that uploading is just not producing something that I think most of us at this point want to watch anymore. So that's where I think the pressure is really coming in, because when you've built a channel around personalities, the drama, relationships, you know, unpredictable moments, you kind of need constantly something happening. You know, prior to all this, there was kind of like something constantly happening. You know, it's feisty and this mean crew and all of that. So what happens when the personalities and the people we were invested in essentially have disappeared? You know, what happens to the storylines that aren't as interesting? What happens when viewers start feeling like they've already seen this episode before, so to speak? Because that's what it feels like now when I watch it. I'm like, I already know what's going to happen before it happens. It's like, you know, I've seen this before already. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. And what happens when the man behind the whole operation, Marcus, has clearly bigger things occupying his mind? Because that's what's been clear to me in the videos now that he's put out, is that his body is there doing the interviews, but clearly his mind is somewhere else. I mean, clearly. I mean, and that's understandable. So that's why Tuesday definitely stood out to me. And again, one day is not a disappearance, because we know how I mean, after the allegations came out, he wasn't anywhere to be found for a week. So, you know, one day isn't a disappearance. You know, by the time maybe this video goes up, you know, he could post something soon after. So I'm not making it more dramatic than it is, but there is kind of like an irony here. At possibly one of the most financially important moments for Marcus, he really doesn't have the luxury of letting the channel lose momentum. So, you know, he's got a lot of people watching, a lot of people, of course, criticizing. Some people may argue that I'm one of the people that criticizes. He's got people waiting to see what happens next. And presumably, he's got bills associated with everything happening outside of YouTube. So you can only imagine the amount of pressure that that creates, because now you're not just making videos because you enjoy making videos, you need the business to continue working. And YouTube does not care what's happening in your personal life. The algorithm is not going to say, well, you know what, Marcus has a lot going on right now. Let's give him a couple of weeks. No, it don't work like that. If the audience stops clicking and the views go, if the audience stops clicking and the views go down, the revenue goes down. That's how that works. And he already has stated that he was already at a $7,000 to $8,000 loss from what he was making. You know, at his high, I guess at the height. You know, I mean, he was saying what that was like at the beginning of the summer or whatnot. So, if the content isn't hitting like it used to, you know, simply posting more doesn't necessarily solve the problem. So that will bring me to a bigger question. What exactly is next for the channel, for Atlanta Street Interviews? Because we already heard Polo joking about, you know, the whole thing of taking over when Marcus goes down. So, and it's interesting now we see Polo with his channel. And I'm like, the timing of that is very interesting. So, you know, Polo has uploaded a lot, and that was on Tuesday, the day that Marcus was missing. So it's almost like Marcus made sure he helped Polo get that up and going. It's almost like he kind of maybe knew, like, I don't know. I mean, I'm like I say, I'm not saying one way or the other what's going on, but you know, it's like he kind of knows something is coming up, or it's kind of more for sure, because it's just interesting that now Polo has that channel up and going after all this time of Polo telling Marcus that he was wanting to do it. You know what I'm saying? So that was very interesting to see that Polo has that page up, and I mean, Polo is posting a lot, you know, for him just getting that channel up. So, you know, who knows, you know, what's next. If Marcus does go away for some time, is he going to have somebody else run his operation? Is there even a plan, a succession plan? Now that Polo has his channel up, is somehow he going to try to incorporate Polo? If he goes away, like Polo could still have his own channel, but still be somewhat incorporated with Atlanta Street Interviews some way where it can keep that Atlanta Street interviews channel going. Um, but Atlanta Street Interviews, of course, is so centered, of course, at this point around Marcus. So if it stops, does everything stop? You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Um, I think it's something that we all are wondering what will happen. Will it just all end? You know, I guess we'll find out. Um, but I think really the story here, if not Marcus didn't upload Tuesday, I mean, clearly something happened, where he didn't upload anything today. So, and for the first time, One Quiet Day makes you realize, I think, just how much pressure this entire operation may actually be under for Marcus. I mean, because, okay, think about it. It's legal pressure, it's financial pressure, content pressure, audience pressure. That's a lot of different elements going on when you think about it. I mean, you imagine even when he's uploading, when he has to get on YouTube every day, he's seeing videos about him. I mean, he's probably gonna see this video. And I mean, I'm sure he's seen probably every single video I put up, and not only me, the dozens of other content creators that do reaction channels about Atlanta Street Interviews. So, um, and it's the pressure of figuring out how, I guess, his channel continues evolving when a lot of the people and situations that help make the channel interesting aren't there anymore, or the ones that are, it's just not the same. The energy is just not the same anymore. um Marcus spent a lot of time documenting a lot of people's lives, but right now, whether he likes it or not, people really are not thinking about those people on his channel anymore. They're thinking about what his next move is and what's going to happen to him next. And Yeah, and I had said this previously, it might have almost been a good idea for him, once he came back off of that week-long break, to turn the camera on himself. He already had started sort of doing that, but at this point, I think it would have been maybe smart for him to turn the camera himself and to document what he's going through on a daily basis concerning this stuff. I really think that content might have hit more than the stuff he's been putting out. But that's just a thought. What are your thoughts on it, y'all? Let's talk about it in the comments. Do you think Tuesday was simply just Marcus taking a day off, or do you think that, that pressure is really building up at this point? Yeah, let's talk about it in the comments. You know what we do. We all can express ourselves and give our little viewpoints. And yeah, I'm just curious to think what y'all think. Like, comment, share, subscribe, turn on that notification bell. Alan Thompson, more based off. And yeah, we'll be talking soon. I guess we'll see soon. If he doesn't post today on Wednesday, that will be very, very, I think, telling if nothing's posted today. But we'll see. All right, Alan Thompson, more based off. Take care.
Yeah. Welcome to the place where the truth comes first. Breaking down the headlines, separating facts from the worst. No fear, no bias, no agenda to hide. Just real conversations from the other side. Hollywood lights, street stories, what's really going on? We ask the tough questions long after the hype is gone. Different perspectives, every voice is a shot. Because real discussion is something this world forgot. If you've got an opinion, don't keep it inside. Pull up to the conversation.
Thanks for watching More Based Off. If you enjoyed today's video, please like, subscribe, comment, and share this video with someone who would enjoy it too. Your support helps to grow the channel. If you'd like to support the channel even further, my Cash App is on the screen. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.